We've seen a lot of videotapes purporting to be documentary evidence of UFOs. But, Russell, what distinguishes this tape you have?
We received a tape from an informant known only as Guardian. It's an intriguing tape, not only because of its content, but also because of the way in which it came to our attention. This event, caught on videotape, has no known explanation. On the left, red flames seem to indicate a landing site for an unfamiliar craft. As remarkable as this videotape is, the real mystery of its origin carries even greater intrigue. The tape arrived at the home of former NASA mission specialist Bob Exler. Now an investigations analyst, Bob is considered an expert in the field of UFO identification. Bob receives hundreds of UFO reports, but his interest was piqued when he noticed that this tape had no return address, only the name Guardian and a thumbprint. Guardian also included these strange photographs. According to Exler's research, the figures in the photos match eyewitness descriptions of extraterrestrial beings at other alleged UFO sites. Intrigued with the growing mystery, Bob took a closer look at the videotape. The images were compelling.
I clearly got the impression that this was a real event happening in a field somewhere, as opposed to some kind of an orchestrated hoax of a model. It certainly was not a simple hoax. If it was a hoax involved, this was something of a very extraordinary, elaborate event.
The package included documents with official Canadian letterheads. One of the reports described the activities of extraterrestrials here on Earth. Much of the information was blacked out, but the videotape was very detailed.
There at least was enough information in the videotape to begin to conduct an investigation, as well as conduct a thorough video analysis.
Bob sent the video to aeronautic analyst Dr. Bruce Maccabee, who subjected the images to exhaustive tests.
This is an unusual video for the amount of detail that it shows. You can see a shape, which looks like what you might say sort of a classic saucer shape, and you can actually see the top beacon, which is flashing, reflected off the surface. So this gives you the impression of a real three-dimensional object out there of some considerable size. I would say it's not a military craft. The military may have been involved in some way in this sighting, but I don't think they were responsible for the craft itself.
It would indeed have been possible for the Canadian military or the U.S. military in connection with the Canadians to have tracked this object into the relative area. As I completed my preliminary video analysis, I was convinced that the case merited a full investigation, including a field investigation with an attempt to locate the site. One of the documents that Guardian provided with the video package was what appeared to be a scaled drawing of a map of an area that essentially confined the area where the landing might have taken place to within about 1 square mile.
Using clues Guardian provided, Bob and his team traveled from Maryland to the site in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Remarkably, the area indicated was marked by a circular patch of destroyed vegetation. Covering the damaged plants was a thin layer of black ash. Samples of the ash went to the lab for analysis. The ash was thought to be residue from what may have been signal flares burning next to the craft. Signal flares can be traced by analyzing their formula. Dr. John Conklin explains about flares and flare compounds.
I've prepared a standard red flare composition, which is based on strontium nitrate as the color donating source for the flame. We just burned 3 or 4 grams of a composition. The flames in the video would have had to have been several pounds of composition and would have left significant amounts, ounces and ounces of residue in the immediate vicinity of where the flame burned.
We were unable to find even trace amounts of strontium, and that, again, puts another nail in the coffin against this being a military, human-type operation.
At this point, Bob's investigation came to a standstill. Guardian's identity was still a mystery. That's when I arranged to meet him in Ottawa and assist in the investigation. Several months had passed and the outside temperature had dropped to 40 degrees below zero. But Guardian's trail was still warm. As the crew readied our Jet Ranger executive, I wondered who Guardian would turn out to be. He appeared to be working from the inside. Could he be a government informant trying to make the public aware of what the military wants to keep secret? Bob instructed me to meet him in Carp, a small city 30 miles outside of Ottawa. From there, Bob directed the helicopter pilot to the field he believed was the UFO's landing site. Even though it was covered in snow, Bob was able to give me a good idea of the grand scale of this event. What is this Guardian doing to the community here?
Well, you know, it's interesting that Guardian, trying to remain anonymous here, has managed to do something for the residents who have reported seeing these unusual objects around here, because he actually got the videotape. And the videotape allows everyone else to get a look at this, what is really a structured vehicle.
We set up a field research office in the city of Carp. There, Bob brought me up to speed on all the information he had on the search for Guardian. The growing complexity of the investigation prompted me to recruit private investigator Bill Van Kralingen. If Guardian was indeed connected to the government in any way, he might be difficult to find. Bob gave Bill all his information on Guardian, and Bill went to work. We gave Bill the original envelope, postage stamp, and copies of the government forms that were included inside the Guardian package. Last was the fingerprint. But if Guardian didn't have a police record, we'd have to find a match ourselves. Bob and I went to local newspapers looking for eyewitness reports of the UFO landing. There were many documented sightings. UFO sightings are not that unusual, but what makes the Guardian case so interesting is this combination of high-quality video, the physical evidence, and also these remarkable eyewitness accounts. It took no time to gather a group of local townspeople who claimed to have witnessed the UFO event. Most were eager to cooperate. After Bob showed them the Guardian tape, each one shared their version of the experience.
I thought I had seen some strobing within the light. At that point, it started coming down and at us. And I became more scared.
Suddenly in the sky appears a great golden ball with a red halo around it. So I thought, I had no idea what it might be, so I got up and went outside to look for something, and there was nothing there that I could see, so I ignored it.
One witness came forward with a detailed description of her encounter. She requested that we hide her identity because of possible repercussions that her testimony might cause.
Why don't we... What happened?
Well, I saw a light emanating up from behind the tree line, across the way. It was this huge structure rising up from behind the trees. I saw somebody come out of the side upper half of the craft. The skin of the person, I'll call it a person for now, had a glow to it. And as a result, I could see features.
This is a photograph taken from the Guardian video.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the same alien you saw?
Well, it certainly, yes.
Sarah appeared to have witnessed the Guardian event, but it was her next observation that gave us our most important lead to the real identity of Guardian himself.
So at that point, I ran outside to the end of my driveway. I did hear something coming down the road, and I was a little frightened by that. I realized that really it was a car coming down the road without its headlights on.
Coming up next, Sarah's lead brings us face to face with Guardian.
Could you talk to me about the UFOs?
Is he the deep throat of UFO conspiracies? The investigation continues.
We now return to Russell Rhodes in the search for Guardian. An informant known only as Sarah has provided a critical new lead, a good description of a car she saw on the night of the alleged UFO landing.
Based on this new information, we gave the vehicle's description to our private investigator. He began a background check on all similar vehicles that were in the area that day. To eliminate the possibility that Sarah was a part of a hoax, we asked her to submit to a lie detector test.
Did you lie about seeing two aliens get out of a craft in front of your house in August 1991?
No.
The test is now complete. Remain still.
Based on what you've seen here,
Yes.
What's your conclusion? My conclusion is Sarah's truthful. What she saw, or what she believes to have witnessed, took place, and she believes this in her own mind. Therefore, she was truthful on these charts. She was not fabricating the incident.
Then the speakerphone call came from Bill. He had a possible match on the vehicle after tailing the driver to a neighborhood church. He instructed us to meet him on a side street nearby, so as not to draw attention.
Okay, which is the best way to come in on the church then?
Come in past the church on the school side and you'll come straight on to us.
Good for it.
Having located a potential target, we began our surveillance.
See the vehicle down at the back just before that gray window van on your left? Good for it.
In our primary inspection, we noticed fingerprints on the handle of the door. This could be the link to the true identity of Guardian. If these prints matched his mysterious thumbprint, we would have found the car belonging to Guardian. The Guardian suspect immediately jumped into his car and fled. Although we tried, we could not keep up with him. Could this be Guardian? The answer undoubtedly lies in his unique calling card. Unfortunately, we were unable to get prints off of the photograph, and the sub-zero temperature prevented us from using fingerprint tape. But we had a license plate, and that was traced to a private residence. Our stakeout began. Again, we waited, wondering what secrets Guardian was keeping. What could he know that keeps him in hiding? Our entire mission lay on the doorstep of this quiet house. Unexpectedly, the Guardian suspect pulled up in a different car. Our PI went to work.
Hi. Oh, yeah. Pleased to meet you. My name is Bill Van Collingen. Could you talk to me about...
Could you talk to me about the UFOs?
Just a moment, please, if you don't mind. I'll put this away and I'll be right back. Talk to me about Guardian. Could you talk to me?
The man we believed to be Guardian refused to speak to us. Almost in a panic, he raced off on foot. Bill attempted to follow. Shortly after that video was taken, Guardian broke through our surveillance net. He escaped at a high speed. We just weren't able to keep up with him. Why is Guardian so afraid to reveal his identity? As long as he remains anonymous, we can't know what secrets he is keeping about UFO activity in his community of Carp, Ontario.
The area seems to be a hotbed. No one seems to know why. But there have been sightings, constantly for the last few years, and it seems to be escalating.